Welcome, everybody, to the regular meeting of our Board of Education. Let's begin with the salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic from which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. For each board meeting, regular board meeting, I'd like to read another one of the board goals so that it helps our community to know what our focus is. So board goal number 2, I read one for last month's meeting, hire a superintendent with a target start date of July 1st, 2023. And that is happening. Our committee is meeting regularly and discussing things with the New Jersey school boards. So that board goal is on track to be met. And if you stay tuned for that, you will certainly hear all the information that we have. As to the recount that you may have been seeing in the paper, the Monmouth County Board of Elections has completed the recount, but until the board gets official notification, everything remains as is. Everything is status quo. Board members are in place, and we're moving ahead with business until we are notified otherwise. And so we continue in that way. We may be in winter doldrums, although it doesn't feel like winter except for the sleep before, but our energy levels at our schools remains very high. And tonight is just going to be one example that our superintendent highlights our student participants in many of the activities that are going on in our schools. And we're excited to have those students be recognized for this evening. Our parents and community members are encouraged to check our website regularly for any workshops and activities. In addition, all of the school policies are listed on that website. And if you go under Board of Education and you pull that down, and you will see the board policies, you can click on the board policies and see how, read about anything that you may have concerns about, and see what guides our governance for each board meeting. So we encourage the community to get involved with that as well. This evening, we have our student members here with us. So welcome, Jane and Steve, and we look forward to your report whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good morning, educators, parents, and students. I'm Jean Rogers, an OTHS Student Council representative. I would like to note just a couple of exciting or important events that happened within our district these past couple weeks. Our high school's winter sports teams have had some phenomenal performances these past couple weeks, with both our boys and girls basketball teams and our ice hockey team advancing to the second round of states, as well as our wrestling team, who had several athletes advance from the district's competition this past weekend. Additionally, our boys winter track team brought home our school's first ever state championship in the sport, defeating some tough competition in Toms River on Saturday. Meetings regarding the spring sport season are in full swing, as well as the winter season begins to wind down. TOIA Student Council hosted their winter dance on February 10th, and OTES hosted a very fun and successful Heart Healthy Yoga fundraiser with SEL coach Ms. Conti. We would also like to say a special congratulations to all the Spelling Bee and Geography Bee winners, as well as the Poetry Out Loud winners from earlier this month on their wonderful achievements.
Back at OTHS, Jazz and Marching Band just took their annual trip to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida to walk down Main Street and perform. The class of 2025 is preparing for their first sophomore lock-in since COVID hit this Friday. Our DECA chapter is getting ready for the state conference next Monday to Wednesday at the Harris Hotel in Atlantic City. The class of 24 is just beginning preparations for the junior prom, which will be held on May 13th. The class is holding a fundraiser on February 23rd at Jersey Mike's to raise money for the prom. And those are all our updates we have for you tonight. Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you mention the lock-in?
I did the sophomore lock-in,
Yes.
25. So they're doing their first lock-in. The juniors just had theirs a few weeks ago, and now they're having theirs.
And it was very successful. So we look forward to that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Our superintendent's report. Let's get these wonderful students up here. Dr.
Absolutely. So thank you. So we're very excited to have a number of students here with us this evening, and what's great is that if any of you have any questions about how to get home from here this evening, we have our GOB winners, so they can help you out with that. And if you can't spell any of the road signs, we have our spelling bee winners. So we are in good hands. So it's a wonderful thing. We also, if you'd like to hear some poetry while you're trying to get your way home, and you'd like to hear it out loud, we have our poetry out loud, folks. So we're excited. So first up tonight, we have our GOB participants. And this year was, I think, a particularly special Geography Bee, as it was newly named in honor of a longtime history teacher and MC of the GOB for many years, Mr. Paul McGrade, who unfortunately passed away last year. But his legacy lives on in the spelling bee, and it was a tremendous competition this year. I think we would all agree, with just some incredibly difficult questions. But we did ultimately come up with a winner, which was fantastic. So I'd like to thank Mr. Steckon and Ms. Villasave, who are the supervisors of social studies who help in that. And we have not only our well, for the GOB, it's for our intermediate school, and then we have our spelling bee final. So we'll get to that in a moment. So for the GOB at the intermediate school, the 8th grade, where the runner-up is an 8th grade. I don't think he was able to make it here this evening. We certainly want to acknowledge Travis Donahue in Miss Cartaya's class, who was the runner-up this year. So Travis, congratulations. And on this year's champion, 6th grader from Miss Alexander's class, and that's Andrew Hurtada. Andrew. Yeah, she don't get to be the champion, not come up. So. Parents want to grab a picture.
Oh, it doesn't have a tab. I can see.
Hold on, I get it.
Okay, shall I take it with you?
I get it.
Wait, you're the principal, sure. Go ahead.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Ready? Thank you. All right, so the district spelling bees also happen at the intermediate school, and then can also take place in each of the 3 elementary schools. So the 4th grade, the spelling bees were held at each school back in January, and also just incredibly fierce competition. I have no idea what you just said.
That was for Irene, I think.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You have to distinguish it because I'm doing that. Because I'm like, what? All right. So once again, special thanks to Ms. Michelle Shapiro and Mr. Ian Schwartz, who I think is also here, for their running of the spelling bees as the supervisors of their areas. So for the elementary schools, our 4th grade champions. So we'll start with Wayside from Mrs. Doyle's classroom, Harrison Cap. Harrison. Yeah, keep them up here. All right, from Oakland Township Elementary School, from Miss Flanagan's classroom, Shane Catalona. Shane. Okay. And from Wanamasa Elementary School, from Miss Francisco's class, Avery Robinson. All right, so we're gonna leave you guys. We're gonna bring the intermediate folks up too, because then we can see the elementary can aspire to that, and then you're all gonna spell Stefankowitz. All right, and whoever gets that gets to graduate early. Do not chat GPT. Okay. School. So competitions are held once again between 5th through 8th grade, and also comes down to very intense competition. So we're very thrilled to have our 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place winners here this evening. So from the intermediate school, the third place winner was Santosh Baxi, who was in third place from Mrs. Will's class. Second place from Miss Skivio's class is Jake Palutis. And the first place champion from the intermediate school this year was eighth grade from Miss Butler's class, Avani Nair. We've said they were coming, but they don't come, or at least have not arrived yet. But congratulations, Avani, anyway. Probably homeschooling and reading things, right? Because that's how you do it. So congratulations to our spelling bee winners. So parents, you want to do some pictures with these folks? Parents, you want to maybe snap some shots? Kids, pretend you're happy and look like you were excited about being here. Good. We got it? Everybody? All right, congratulations. Now, just so everybody knows, the next step in the spelling bee finalists for grades 4 through 8 will take place on the Scripps Online test, which is in the first round of regional competition. And then that goes on to, if they make it past that, then they go on to other competitions that will take place ultimately at the Basie Theater in Red Bank. So it's really great, and it's wonderful. We look forward to our students moving forward there. All right, so let's now move to our high school. And we mentioned Poetry Out Loud. So the Poetry Out Loud contest was held this year at the high school back in December. And students compete to perform in dramatic recitation of a classic or contemporary poem from the Poetry Out Loud anthology. The contest was open to all high school students, and the students competed in the contest were in their own classes. And of course, Mr. Schwartz, again, was involved in the planning of that. And also Ms. Don Hemrick, who's the media specialist at the high school, was also instrumental in that process. So once again, had a third, second, and first place champion. So the third place winner was from grade 12, and I under the Rule of 10 category of a baby here. So yes, okay. So Juno Schneider, Juno. We're very thankful that you joined us this evening, so thank you. Yeah. Okay, just hang for a sec. All right, the second place winner, Sophia Conklin. Sophia Conklin. Yeah. So when they say yes, they're not you. When it says maybe, we are here. Yeah, we got to go for that. Okay, let me just ask: is the winner here? Is the champion? So the supreme champion, the first place champion from our Poetry Out Loud competition from the high school is Julia Sutton. Okay. So, and Julia represented the district at the regional competition, which was held on February 8th. How'd that go?
Just pretty great.
Pretty great?
Pretty great, didn't win, but maybe.
Well, that's yeah. You were one of 10 students that moved on to the final round, right? Which is terrific. So that's great. So, and just look out for next year. So that's great job. Also by Gino and Julia and Christina. So we congratulate you. We want to get any photos up here. Come on up, don't be shy, it's okay.
Come closer.
That's you too, that was.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to ruin the pictures. That'll be the one. Thank you very much. All right. That concludes.
Thank you very much. We'll move to our school business administrator, Ms. Truba.
Now, basically, I said most of this in the work session around the budget, but the most important thing is the dates of when the state the governor is going to do his address, which will be on February 28th. And we will get our state aid numbers either March 1st or early March 2nd. So by the 7th, we should know what our projected revenues are. And tomorrow we are meeting with the central office as well as the principals to continue to discuss additional ways to further reduce the gaps that we currently have in closing the budget to our tax levied amount.
Thank you. I'm sure that's a very difficult process, and we'll check in again on March 7th. Hopefully, as you said, we'll have more conclusive numbers. Okay. At this point in the meeting, we will now conduct the first of two public comment sessions. The first session will be open for public comments on agenda items only. The second session will be at the end of the meeting and can be on any topic. Ms. Conway, do you have anyone in the queue? If not, I'll move to the comments in this room.
Very good. President Gilman, I was hoping that Ms. Polk would want to make a comment, but I don't see her back.
Yes, from upstairs, right. She's still not. Hopefully she'll get on. I'll move to the room. Is there anyone in the room who would like to go to the mic and address an item? Anyone? Okay, then we'll move on with the meeting. Mr. McCarthy, let's go to the approval of minutes.
Yes, Madam President. Move to approve item 5.1, the approval of minutes, the February 7th, 2023 meeting. Do I have a second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCarthy. Financial management, Ms. Tortorella.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. We have 11 items, moving items 6.1 through 6.11 for approval tonight. May I have a second?
Second.
Would you like me to take the vote?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Ms. Beal,
Yes.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes. Yes. Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Ms. Palanis.
Yes.
Ms. Talarico,
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Before we move on, I wanted to explain something, and I appreciate Mr. Stoniker pointing this out. In our work sessions, we discuss each of the items. When we come down to the regular meeting, they've already been discussed in a work session. So if the community wants to know more about what's in each item, opening up the agenda or trying to attend the work meeting via Zoom would be a good way for you to hear what each item entails. Thanks for pointing that out to us. Instruction, education, and student activities. Mrs. Beal.
Move to approve 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.7, 7.8, 7.9, and 7.10. Move to affirm 7.6 and 7.11.
Second.
Who seconded? I apologize.
Ms. Tortorella did.
Thank you. Would you like me to take the vote?
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Beal,
Yes to 7.2 through 7.11, abstain from 7.1.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Ms. Palanis.
Yes.
Ms. Talarico,
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Ms. Beal. We move to personnel, Ms. Paralamas.
Certainly, Mrs. Gilman. There are 15 items this evening, so I'd like to make a motion to move items 8.1 through 8.15. Ms. Truba, could you please call the roll?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. McGovern?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Beal,
Yes.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Ms. Palamas,
Yes.
Ms. Talarico,
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
motion carries.
Our policies, the approval of regulations. This is our final reading of the following policies. Ms. Talarico?
Thank you, Madam President. I move to approve the final revisions to the following policies and or regulations 9.1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Beal,
Yes.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Ms. Palamas,
Yes.
Ms. Talarico,
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman,
Yes. And again, these policies become available on our website. If you have questions about attendance or our policies on student records, you'll find that on our website. We will move to old business at this point. Ms. McGovern.
So I just want to recognize that in 7.7, the board just approved our DECA trip, and I want to recognize that a lot of our leadership is here tonight. They're probably here for something else, but I just want to wish them luck on their trip and to thank them for coming and being great leaders for DECA.
Thank you for pointing that out. And good luck down in Florida.
Book your flight.
And the other old business. Yes, Ms. Hayes.
I have a couple things. So our 8th grade dialogue for the county is March 2nd for the first time. It's being held at our middle school, so that's pretty awesome. Hope all of our board members would consider coming. We have one student, right? Like one student from each of the 54 school districts gets to talk and ask questions about what it's like being an 8th grader. It's put on by the New Jersey School Boards Association. If I'm not mistaken, it starts at 6.
I think it is at 6.
At 6, it should be less than an hour. But did we finalize drinks and snacks or anything like that? And did we find?
she never reached out to me. I gave her Gail's information.
Okay, I'll follow up. with her.
Okay, I mean, we're ready.
What?
We're ready. She gave us a count.
Okay, a count of how many?
Yeah,
people?
but she didn't specify, so we're doing typically what we would do for graduation.
Okay,
Okay,
maybe cookies and juice.
that's what it is.
Cookies and juice.
And chips, things like that.
Okay, and are we having entertainment? Was that, were we able to?
Divided the median. And no, I think, Mr. Amato, you've secured a group to sing the national anthem, yes?
Nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll tell them that. Okay. Secondly, and it came up kind of when I came down here and saw this room packed. I know we were a little late today, but not exceptionally late as we probably have been in the past, but I really think we need to have a work session for these 1 meetings a month down here. Our 3rd floor is not accessible to the general public. And maybe some of these people who were here might have wanted to go upstairs, but probably didn't know that we were in a meeting for an hour that anybody here could have attended. So it's kind of, I feel like it's limiting our access or the public's access to us. But there's a whole other ADA compliance issue. So I don't know if this is maybe I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we no longer have our work sessions in Dr. Stefankowicz's office. First of all, there's not enough seating if more than 3 people wanted to come up, but I know we do it for our other work sessions. So I really don't understand why we started having it upstairs. I'd like to make a motion that we cease having work sessions in Dr. Stefankowicz's office.
I'll second.
Okay. And second was Grace Hanson.
Ms. Talarico.
So
The sessions are broadcast on Zoom.
Was sitting here. And I don't think anybody knew that they were upstairs. There's no longer a sign that says you can go upstairs.
There is a
Inside
sign that
accessible.
says you can go upstairs. That was
Right
out.
here, there's no sign.
I'm sorry. It's out in the hallway.
Yeah, but nobody comes in that way.
Oh, but you're coming in this way, so perhaps put the sign here
Yes.
might be helpful.
I think we have a motion on the floor.
Excuse me. Yes, yes. And that's why I've kind of made that announcement about the work session and, attending on Zoom, but we'll vote on it. If that's the motion has been made.
Let's vote on it. Okay, so are we voting on this, President?
Well, the motion has been made and seconded.
Okay. Ms. Beal,
Is the yes to cease having them upstairs? Yes.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Ms. Paramas.
Yes.
Ms. Talarico,
Yes.
Ms. Tortorella,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman.
Yes.
Okay, so going forward, I will let the team know that all work sessions will be down here.
Awesome.
Any other old business? Let's move to new business. Mr. McCarthy.
I think there's been a lot of discussion around the town, just in the theme of access to information. I think there's been a lot of discussion around the town in terms of equitable access to facilities that is being provided to people based on the gender that they're assigned to. And I don't believe that the laws that regulate that by the state are being made known to our parents. So I would ask, is there any desire by the administration to send information home or to reach out to these parents to make known that this is a state law that is required of us to grant this access to these students?
And that's probably something that we're going to discuss. I'll let Dr. Frankowitz discuss it, but in the meantime, it's also under our use of facilities policies. So when I pointed out that you just need to go to
Transgender students.
yes, I'm sorry, transgender policy on our website. And if you were to pull that down under our policies, you could familiarize yourself with that. But yes, the New Jersey state law as well, which was passed in 2018. And I'll let Dr. Stefankowitz discuss that further.
Sure. I mean, obviously, as a school district, there are many times when we need to pull our students together to discuss and reinforce school policies, practices, which quite often are associated with the law in the state of New Jersey. For example, in the last year and a half, we have pulled students together to discuss anti-bias. We've pulled students together to discuss harassment, intimidation, and bullying. We've pulled students together to discuss mental health and wellness. We've pulled students together to discuss school security and weapons, to discuss substance abuse. All of these things are state laws. All of these things are board policies. And we pull kids together all the time to talk about what the rules are and what the expectations are for behavior. In all of those examples I just listed, which we've done all within the last year and a half, we have not sent home any notification to parents that we were going to do that, because that is just what we do as part of our operations of the school district. So what occurred last week with reinforcing the practices and policies and laws surrounding transgender students and the use of facilities within the school was no different than any other time we've done that with kids. So we would not typically send something home on that. Obviously that is a topic that perhaps is debated more than perhaps some of those other topics. I think we would all agree that drugs in school are not good and weapons in school are not good. And, perhaps there's some folks who disagree with what the current law states, but the law is the law. And we as a school district, I think we're acting to be out in front of a situation so that all of our students could be prepared for what to expect perhaps moving forward. I think it was the right thing to do, the responsible thing to do. And certainly if there are parents who have concerns about that law, and our policy as a board really just mirrors the law. So if there's a problem with that law, which we certainly, if there's a disagreement with that law, we certainly respect that a person might have that disagreement. However, that's really something that should be taken up with the legislature, because we are simply acting, carrying out the law as it was written, which clearly states that a student has the ability to utilize the facilities in the gender in which they identify. And if that's, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about, well, couldn't there be a gender neutral bathroom or nurse's office? And we do offer that possibility. But when a student has informed us that they would like to use a particular facility for the gender in which they identify, the law requires that we abide by that. And so as such, we understand that might, make some parents and others feel uncomfortable, but that is the law. And so our discussion last week with students was merely to remind students of the law and to inform them of what the expectations were for all parties in terms of behaviors, reactions, and what supports were in place for all parties if there were questions or concerns in terms of the students. So that was the situation.
And I do have that New Jersey law noted here, NJSA 18A:36-41 and 18A 37-15 from the New Jersey Department of Education, October 2018. So if the public would like to see that, it will now be in the minutes, and they can go back to it and Google that law and familiarize themselves with it. Ms. Tallarico, you had a comment?
Just to be clear, I understand. I'm aware of this law as well. And trust me, I've looked into it myself to see where this is coming from. But I do believe that we are trusted with the care of these children, and their parents expect us to take care of them, including students who identify a certain way. But I do believe that it is our responsibility to notify parents of such a hot button topic. And I think that just pulling the students in is not getting ahead of communication about this to our parents, is my opinion. I think that we would have been better served notifying the parents of this district about a situation like this, because it is clear to me, because of the seat that I'm in, that apparently this has been a policy for a very long time. And the only thing that has changed is a specific student has requested access to facilities that they were not previously requesting access to. And I think that it would have been better.
I'm sorry, Mr. McCarthy. This would really apply to any students, not no.
I understand that it's a
when I say any student, I don't mean any student. I think there was some misconceptions and how things, this idea that any student could at any time decide now I'm going to use different restrooms.
And I was thinking you clarify this is something this has also been afforded to me. And
that's in no way the case. It's very specific criteria that needs to be met in order for someone to use a different facility, right, than their birth gender, right? So and that was all explained to the students, within this meeting. And like I said, I understand what you're saying. It's just that we've certainly had conversations with students about many very important topics where we have. Where we haven't, sent a letter home saying, hey, on Thursday, we're going to meet with the kids. So this was really no different. And it's an important topic. And we certainly understand, like I said, but perhaps it's a more controversial topic. But, as a school district, we do have the ability and the right to do that. And it is, these are policies that are available to the public, and they're on our website. We're there. It's very difficult operationally to run a school trying to anticipate what messages we may, what policies we may want to discuss with the kids, or what expectations for student behavior we may want to discuss that some people are going to be in favor of, not in favor of, consider controversial, not consider controversial. I think we're once again trying to get out in front of the situation. I think we've all seen in recent weeks, tragedies that occur in high schools and schools in general because of behaviors and we think it's very important to try to get out in front of these situations and make our students aware. Because we understand, obviously, parents are right there with the kids, and we get that. But the students are the one experiencing it. The students are the one living it on a daily basis. So we thought it was very important to speak with our students and we did that. So we didn't create anything new, you know, we didn't invent anything. We simply just restated the policy and talked about what the expectations are.
Ms. Talrico, you had a comment?
Thank you. Yes, that's a question too. As a board, we had a discussion about parents being able to opt out for the gym and health class. And I want to know why this was not applicable. In this.
You can't opt out of the state law. You can't opt out of the state law. So you're
So you're saying the assembly was a state law?
no, the topic is a law in New Jersey. It's very different than a lesson in health class. It's very different than that. So when you're asking people, how do you opt out of life? You know, you're going to have an individual in the coming months, weeks, years. You may have individuals who are going to be in a locker room or a bathroom and be faced with a situation. How do you opt out of that? You say to that person, I'm sorry, I've opted out of this. You can't do that. So this is making sure that every student is aware of the law, aware of the policy, and aware of the expectations of behavior and the supports that are available if they have questions or need support. And that's all students.
I just have one more comment. So I think from what I've heard from some of the parents, they were confused because it was from the kids were taken out of gym or a health class. And that is what they thought that they were opting out of.
No, that was really just a mechanism because once again, when you really, this is going to be something I will tell you that it's probably going to happen at the beginning of every school year moving forward. Right, just a reminder of, because it's really all the kids who could be faced with this situation, whether it be a restroom or a locker room. We felt most immediate that we need to discuss with the PE classes, because obviously that's where the locker rooms utilize through PE classes.
Mhm.
So if that was the main situation, we wanted to be able to address the PE classes. So this is really a separate issue from the quote unquote sex ed curriculum that people are either opting in or out of.
Okay, and I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that was expressed to the parents in what you're saying. So, maybe there could have been a letter to explain what you're discussing right now. I don't know.
Well, I would also add to that rather, if parents were confused and concerned, rather than take to social media to find out answers, which often disseminate misinformation, that all they had to do was call the building principal. All they had to do was call Dr. Stefankowitz.
It's always after the fact, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference.
If they were confused after the fact, then they could have.
I'm so sorry that I can't hear anything you guys are saying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know if the mics are working.
It's fine. Hard to believe you can't hear me, Mr. Beast.
Really? So
The mics are for the high.
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Beeson. I will use my teacher voice then. What I'm saying is that if parents are confused or they have a concern, that rather than take to social media to try to find an answer, that they should go to the source. They should call the building principal, that they should call the superintendent and ask a question. What's going on in the gym classes? Is it true that anyone can use any bathroom at any time? The answer was no. But of course, that was circulating around social media. And all that does is create confusion, mixed feelings, hardship. And this is something we want to avoid. I'm glad that we have our public comment sessions. I'm glad to see people in the audience. I'm glad to have people go to the mic and express their opinions. That's what the public comment session is for. These meetings are for the public, not just for us to pass law 8.1. So I
just, and certainly understand, the idea, but, when in operating a school of 1,000 kids, there are going to be times when you're going to have to call kids together. And it's not going to be feasible to to necessarily provide for letters to go home to inform parents of every single solitary topic that's going to be discussed. Once again, I think if we were unleashing something new, if we were creating a new policy, if we were creating a new practice, we were simply reinforcing something that already existed for years. And will probably just be, we're getting to the point where we anticipate that this will now be sort of realized in the schools. So just reinforcing that message with the kids who will live it every day was really the purpose and what was most important.
We'll finish the board comments and then we'll go to the public comment session. And that's when we'll ask the public to express their comments. Ms. Hayes, you have a comment?
I have a comment and some
On your new
questions
business,
for this.
new business.
Yes.
Yeah.
According to the New Jersey School Boards Association, when this law that we're talking about was enacted in 2015, there has not been a single assault by a transgendered individual on a student in any New Jersey school district. Not a single one. I would like to know a couple of things. Have we had any issues in our schools, like reportable, because I do think that while I'm saying no assaults since 2015, I believe this was a September article. Have we had any problems in our school? And just for layman's terms, we cannot have a cisgendered man, a boy with a penis, and I'm going to say the words because some parents don't like saying these things. Can a boy with a penis who identifies as a boy walk into the girls' bathroom and take a pee? No. You're saying the answer is no. We are not
Just any boy who has not identified with us that they
transgendered anything.
correct.
Okay. I wanted that just to be clarified. And have we had any incidents at our school?
I don't believe so. No. Now, when you asked the previous questions, have we ever had situations where students, trans students or students who may identify have had, we've certainly had harassment situations over the years. We've had situations, sure. We've had those.
And to that point will be my last comment. I fully support our district supporting our trans and our trans community and our non-binary youth. I just wanted to leave a statistic from 2022 in the height of the pandemic. I get you, but 50% of trans and non-binary youth in the United States have considered suicide. So if we can do anything to contribute to the well-being of our trans and non-binary youth, I'm for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. Anything else for new business? Okay, we will move to the second public comment session. Would anyone from the public like to comment on any item at this time? We'll begin in the room. Would anyone like to go to the mic and speak? Yes, go to the mic and please give us your name.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
I'm Ian Barley, and I'm a senior at OTHS. I have come here tonight to speak about the ongoing bathroom issue at our high school, and it's separate from the conversation that you all just had. Currently, we have an issue regarding students skipping class and hanging out in the bathrooms. I fully acknowledge that this is an issue present, and I am fully supportive of our administration's efforts. However, I believe that the current solution creates a larger issue for the rest of the student body and also does not solve the problem of students hanging out in the bathrooms. For anyone who is not aware, the current solution is to reduce the number of bathrooms open throughout the school day. The bathrooms by the cafeteria, the ones across the hall from the guidance office are open all day. And to my current knowledge, the E-Hall science room bathrooms are only open during the 4th block. That's 2 bathrooms open for the whole day and 1 additional bathroom open for 1 block. In addition to this limited bathroom availability, we were instructed not to leave the classroom to use the bathroom during the first 5 and last 5 minutes of our class period. As a result of this rule, students wind up missing vital class time going to the bathroom during the middle of class. In my entire academic career, I have always been told to use the restroom right at the beginning of class and right at the very end of class in order to not miss anything important taught in that lesson. I myself am an AP student and I am committed to my academics. I do not want to leave my higher level classes during the allotted time because I will miss important information and parts of the lesson. And I'm sure that everyone here can agree with me when I say that it is very difficult to concentrate on the lesson when all you can think about is the urge to use the bathroom. Another reason I do not want to leave during class is because the locations of these bathrooms that are open are inconvenient for the majority of the school. I would spend a good amount of time walking around to get to the open bathroom, which is not in a central location with respect to the majority of classrooms in the building. Our teachers have been instructed to call security or administration and inform them if a student has been out of class for more than 10 minutes. In my opinion, along with many of my fellow peers, it would take a little over 10 minutes from the time that they left the classroom, got to a bathroom and used its facilities to the time they returned from their trip. At one point in the past 2 weeks, one of the 2 boys' bathrooms was closed due to it being out of order. For a couple of days, there was only one boys' bathroom open in our school. That was a major inconvenience for the students. Lastly, due to the limited number of bathrooms, the groups of students congregating in the bathrooms increases in size. It is uncomfortable and awkward to use the bathroom while there are around 10 students just standing in the middle of the bathroom skipping class. This further dissuades me, along with my fellow peers, from wanting to use the facilities available during the school day. The bathroom is a place where someone should not feel uncomfortable and awkward while relieving oneself. Before I continue, I would like to say that I am very appreciative of our administration's awareness and quick responses to these ongoing issues within our school. And me speaking here tonight is not meant to criticize the administration attempting to solve a legitimate problem in any way. With that being said, here is my idea for a possible solution. At OTHS, we have 4 security guards and 1 uniformed police officer. 1 security guard must stay at the front entrance at all times. That security guard has access to every security camera in our school. The remaining 3 security guards would be best utilized, in my opinion, with 1 located at the downstairs D hall bathroom, 1 located at the downstairs green hall bathroom, and the remaining officer at the cafeteria bathrooms. Then the uniformed police officer can circulate the school. These specific bathrooms I have mentioned are right in the center of the building and at short distances from the majority of classrooms, allowing for quick access to the students. I mentioned earlier that the security guard stationed at the front entrance has access to all the security cameras via laptop because this eliminates the need for a security guard to be in the security office for a long duration of time and allows for another bathroom to be open. If there is a situation and security is needed, they can quickly close the bathroom they are at, respond to the situation, and once the situation is resolved, they can go back to the bathroom at which they were stationed. Now, to many, this may sound like a misuse of resources, assigning security guards to bathroom duty. But the school tries to place teachers on bathroom duty during their off periods. However, with the substitute shortage and increased need for teachers to cover other classes, in addition to the teachers already having busy teaching schedules, it does not always result in the most efficient outcome. It is not a teacher's job to deal with this bathroom issue. Their job is to help students learn by giving them knowledge and setting up an environment in which our students can and will learn effectively. I believe the security guards are better equipped for this task due to their background, training, experience, job responsibilities, and I personally have seen them successfully combat this issue firsthand in our school. They do a phenomenal job. Utilizing them will allow for more open and convenient bathrooms for students, as well as successfully combating the issue of students skipping classes and hanging out in the bathrooms. Thank you.
And that was excellent. Your comments are very well taken. I hope you're considering law school.
And I was saying, have you spoken with the building administration about your concern?
I have not, and the reason for that is tonight when I reminded my mother that I was coming to this anyway for the record trip approval, she suggested that I bring this issue up. And while, yes, I probably should have gone to direct administration first and then come here, I just hopped on. Yeah,
Sure. No,
so,
no, the other reason I ask is obviously, and I think you brought this up, obviously the situations are complex. And
Yes.
there are many different, things and we've tried many different solutions to address the issue. I think, obviously you have some great thoughts. And I think obviously Ms. Kasuba would be very happy to meet with you to discuss and others to discuss, discuss your ideas to try to. Of
course.
So I would recommend that, you set up a time and,
Yes.
and sit down with the building administration to do that.
Okay,
So, thank you.
thank you for your time.
And best wishes, Ian.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the room care to come to the microphone? Please just state your name.
Well, this is Jim Bay, David Street. And this is just a reminder that on May 9th is the mayor's election and the city council election on May 9th. If you or family members or acquaintances want to run for a mayor council, 207 petitions, signature petitions with the address of valid voters. And the petitions must be in by the deadline of March 6th to be eligible to run on gives the freehold election commissioner time to put the ballot together between March 6th and May 9th. If you know of anyone who is interested in running for mayor or the council, and I have the packet if anyone wants to take one home to a interested party.
I would suggest anything.
He's going to Vanderbilt.
Interested. Yeah.
He's going to Vanderbilt.
Okay.
He's got.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone else in the room care to go to the mic and speak? Yusuf, will go to the mic, please. Thank you. And state your name.
Kurt Isabella. I just want to know, is there any
Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Kurt Isabella?
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to know, is there any latitude within the interpretation of that law that you're discussing about the policy within the school? Because it seems as
Latitude as in,
it seems as though different school districts have different policies within the county and within the state. We discussed it being approved and put for a vote in 2018. So I was also wondering if maybe it's time to revisit it and make sure it addresses all students. So any other students don't feel uncomfortable in the bathroom with these policies that are in place?
if they are uncomfortable with the policies that are in place, all they need to do is to notify their guidance counselor. And as Dr. Spankowitz stated, there is the nurses' room bathroom, there is the library bathroom that they could certainly go to. I'm not sure that the latitude that you're discussing is available in a public school that's taking funding from the state. We certainly can't pick and choose which laws we would like to follow, even if we personally don't agree with them or it's against our religious training to go with it. We are a public school. We're not a private school.
Right. My comment is other public schools within the county seem to have different policies, different assembly policies and.
Yeah, my understanding is that our policy really mirrors the law. And so.
Your interpretation?
Well, we get our policies from an organization called Strauss Esme, who does policies for over 500 school districts in the state.
Okay.
So, we did not get that policy and then take our interpretation. If you read the policy, it's pretty clear as to what it speaks to. Now, I can't speak to how different districts may run it or interpret it or how they do it, but
Right. I think everybody here is for, inclusivity within the student body. It's just maybe some students at their age might feel uncomfortable with certain things that might be taking place and might be scared to go ahead and report it to the faculty or the administrators for resulting in a HIB report or something of that nature. So it's a concern. I'm raising it to the board. I don't think it hurts to bring it back up and vote on it again and see who's for, who's against it, if it's the right policy for the town, for the state, with our peers within the county and their school districts.
we don't have the option to not have a policy that is first off mandated. If it's mandated by the state, which this policy is,
And
Correct.
that's, and if it can't be contrary to the law.
Okay. My comments only come from speaking to people within Monmouth County. Kids go to public school. They didn't have their kids attend any assembly. I don't have kids in high school. So I'm speaking from what I hear in the community. So our job is to kind of be the community members and voice to you what the concerns are of all the students. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm hoping everybody's listening. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Yes, please go to the mic.
Hi, my name is Evan Beeson. I am a junior at Ocean Township High School, and I just wanted to go over some of Aiden's points that he made, which were really good. So first of all, I just want to say about the bathroom situation. I know that the school is trying their best, but I feel like having a limited amount of bathrooms being open is kind of a problem, because with the limited amount of bathrooms being open, there's more people gathered in that one bathroom throughout the whole school day. So I know a bunch of me and my peers are scared to go into the bathroom and see what's happening, because there are fights, there's slap box fights, and I know a week ago they pulled 44 guys out of the bathroom. They counted too. So that's just something concerning. And then as well as that, I know if you have an emergency and you have to go to the bathroom, and but say the bathroom's all the way in the other side of the school, how is that gonna be solved? I guess is what I'm saying. You can't run to the if you're so you can't run to the bathroom if you're already on the other side of the school.
Understandable, Evan, for sure.
And I know another issue is that in the bathrooms, vaping and smoking is now occurring in the bathrooms during lunch periods. And I know the school is closing the bathrooms during the beginning of lunch, which I agree with, because that is mostly when students do vape and smoke. They sit in the big stalls in the bathroom. But I was talking to my younger brother, and he's scared to use the bathroom because of all the people who are in the bathroom. Also, because of what it smells like. He said to me the other day, he'll walk into the bathroom and he'll smell smoke. So he says he doesn't go to the bathroom the whole school day. He just goes when he's home. And I also I go to the private bathrooms, in the library. I always go to, or walk around the school looking for an empty bathroom.
I'm suggesting that perhaps you and Aiden can make an appointment with the administration, sit down and give them some of your ideas, lay out a plan that might work. And we appreciate you sharing this with us. Ms. Hayes?
Thank you for coming up. I'm sorry, can we get some clarification on what's a really 44 kids in a bathroom is a little bit of a concern to me. And how did that happen? What happened to those kids? And don't also have sensors in the bathrooms that can. Okay, so can we get a report possibly on how many how many times kids are smoking in the bathrooms and these sensors go off, Do I have other board members who are willing to say they would like to see that?
Yes, I'd like to see that information.
I'd also like to know what a slap box
Thank you.
is.
That's a new one also, slap box.
I
haven't heard what it is. It certainly doesn't sound like something.
It's an awesome match with open hands.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's just what he said.
The individuals who identify however they do. I just,
Yes.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And how often is that?
Evan, these things do have to be addressed, and if you give the board a chance to work with the administration, but on your end, it sounds like you and Aiden and other student leaders might want to have a meeting, a sit down. That's what student leaders do. They meet with the adults and they work out a situation for solutions.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you coming forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, that's a good suggestion. Thanks, Evan. We have two student representatives here this evening.
We're not putting the student representative.
No, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
Yes,
if you
that's not-
wanted to make a comment at the mic, you certainly are welcome to.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Just give us your name. Thank you.
Logan Kaplan. I'd like to second all those things. They were all great points.
Actually, it'd be 30.
Those things.
Thank you, Logan.
I ask that maybe start adding a new policy into the school, just prosecute all misdemeanors in the bathroom. If the kids caught loitering in there for more than 10 minutes, they shouldn't be in the bathroom. 10 minutes, if they have a serious medical condition, fine. It's really disgusting and gross. They should be cleaned more regularly, like twice a day. It's abhorrent. There will be feces wiped all over the floor. In fact, at the end of last year, there were signs in the bathroom that said, what was it? Please one person in the stall at a time. Which, okay. So please
To be explained.
yeah, you'd think so. But these are high schoolers we're dealing with. Just please start enforcing stricter rules. I think that's the best way to cut it off. So that way kids know if one kid gets caught doing it, they're gonna stop pretty quickly. That's my suggestion.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
suggestion, Logan. Again, power comes from students meeting together with the administration to look for answers. So I encourage you, Logan, to get those ideas out and meet with the administration to try to work out a solution. Anyone else? We'll go to the online. We have one more. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Ridley. Who is this?
So, Mike Riddell, question is, with the whole bathroom situations,
Yes.
I don't think anybody wants somebody who's transgender or identifies whatever to not have access to their bathrooms, to be safe, to be, that's not, I think most people who do get concerned about it aren't concerned about that. They're concerned about the people that are going to take advantage of the situation and try to do things the wrong way, whether he's going to say, hey, I'm going to, whatever the circumstance may be. Cameras are involved, locker rooms are involved, bathrooms are involved. With all that being said, I have 3 daughters. So I know in the school system, not everybody's perfect. I've been through the school system. Things have changed over the course of time. Technology's changed. Stuff that we did, stuff our parents did, stuff that we did to what our kids did. Same thing, but it's different. So what is the policy being with somebody that abuses the circumstance? Not the proper technique. Somebody takes advantage and uses that. What policy does that fall under? Is it a hit? Is it bullying? Is it a hit?
It's a violation of the student code of conduct and will be met with very serious consequences. And I will tell you that I think in the entire time that this law has existed, and certainly since more attention was brought to it last week, I don't believe we've ever had one incident where a student has tried to utilize, just to be funny, to be whatever, another bathroom. As a parent, certainly understand your concern, and particularly, we've heard a lot from parents of daughters who have concern about, young men now going into the girls' room and just, using facilities. That the likelihood of that happening is extremely small. I mean, it didn't happen, and I know that's a fear, but that's really not going to be the reality. And so if it were to happen, then that would be an absolute violation of the student code of conduct and would be met with very serious consequences.
Because I can tell you the day the announcement came out, my daughter told me she was in the bathroom, 10 guys came in. And I'm telling you, I mean, you can say no, but I mean, my daughter got on camera.
So that should be reported to the administration, and that would be addressed.
The thing is, listen, first day, it's gonna happen. Everyone, kids, first day, everyone's gonna go out of control, do whatever. I chalk it up to just nonsense on the first day. They're gonna get out of their systems, they're gonna do whatever, and it's gonna dwindle off. But my point was, in the future, like, is it a zero tolerance policy? Is this something that's gonna say, oh no, we're gonna take care of it, and it gets swept under the rug like a lot of stuff does? I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what it is. I just want to know that I have 3 daughters to protect. I know a lot of people in here have daughters to protect. I'm telling you now, it may, God forbid it never happens here. It's already happened in other schools. It's already happened. There's cases all over the place. I'm not saying it's going to happen here. I pray it doesn't happen here. But if it does, it needs to be met hard and swift. Because if it doesn't, it's going to be a cancer.
We agree, and it won't be tolerated, and I would strongly suggest that if that happened on that day, because kids were, you know, fooling around. Times, that should actually absolutely be brought to the attention of the administration, would absolutely deal with that.
All right, that was basically my point.
Sure.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beeson.
Hi, I'm Mike Beeson. Never thought I'd follow my son at a public meeting. And all the kids for getting up and saying things. I think the irony is that we're talking about bathrooms that we can't even use. I think the kids came up with solutions, and they've been closed for how many weeks now? A couple of weeks at least. I don't understand how we cannot have bathrooms open. So tell me, are the vaping mechanisms working? Are the smoking? Why aren't we having staff in front of the bathrooms? I mean, this is becoming a serious problem for students. And do we have any answers? I mean, I know the kids should talk to the principal, but isn't it our responsibility to open up the bathrooms? I just want to see how long this is going to last. Is there something that's going to be done?
Yeah, I mean, once again, you know, I know to a person who isn't in school every day that these things sound like easy solutions, but you know, when you're running an operation, you know, you need to be able to. There's a lot of different factors that play into supervision in the bathrooms. And so, you know, I know that the administration works every day to try to address these issues. And the best solutions are for the kids and parents to bring their concerns and work directly with the building administration. They're the folks who are operating the building every day. They know the nuances, the issue. I'll join my question to the principal. Don should contact the principal tomorrow.
I'm looking for solutions. Yes.
That the proper procedure would be.
It's always procedure. Everything's procedure. I understand. Okay. Well, I'm making my, voice heard. The bathroom should be open. If we have to pay extra staff to sit there and monitor, we need to do that. It just makes the whole situation worse. I'm glad that the school did inform the students about policies, about gender policy. I think it's important that kids know. And I don't feel like I needed to be informed beforehand. I really think that's the duty and the law as it's written that we have to follow. As a former board member, there's a lot of things we had to do, a lot of mandates. And I think that was just one of them that we had to follow and important to do. And then I'll leave on this note. You all have a hard job. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you for your years of service, all of you. And I really want to point out to Steve and Mr. Weinstein that you are, given your situation, both of you handled it very professionally. And I know it's difficult for all of you and the board, but I just want to thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Beeson, for your comments. We appreciate them. Is there anyone else in the room? I'm sorry if I missed anyone.
I would just like to say one more thing. Do I need this?
Yeah, yes, it's for the people at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure we're probably all don't want to talk about the bathroom issue or maybe repeat it as much anymore, but I think honestly, the reason it's gotten worse, I think we're trying to solve it by closing the bathrooms and contain it, but I think containing it has allowed kids to more take advantage of the fact that they can all fit into one bathroom and overpower one staff member at one bathroom. I think honestly, the smoking, whatever issue is separate from just the fact that bathrooms need to be open. That does need to probably be addressed, yes, but I don't think a majority of students who don't have access to bathrooms nearby or don't feel like they can leave class because they're missed stuff. I probably was waiting for a stall to be open by the cafeteria. I wasn't even in lunch, but the other day, probably for at least 10 minutes, just because there's ones out of order and other people were using them. And it's just, there wasn't even an issue with smoking in the bathroom that day. There's just no other bathroom open. And so in the middle of class, when there's several kids from several classes using one bathroom, there's not enough stalls, which is not convenient. And like all of my peers said, it's just not, I don't really feel like it's solving anything at the moment. Unfortunately, I think it's honestly just gotten more out of hand. And I'm definitely willing to talk to Ms. Kazula, you know, and address that. I understand that that needs to be brought to the administration, but I feel like sitting here, I don't think that I can probably solve everything on my own. I think you would probably agree with that, but I do, I'm willing to address that issue because I know there's a lot of kids that have complained about just the lack of accessibility of bathrooms, and I do feel like that's
obviously it's an issue, right? And there's many nuances, that go into it. Things that seem like easy solutions may not be easy, right? There's a lot of things that people who are not, building administrators, that they don't understand in terms of just the operations. So I really truly believe that what everybody has said here today is very valuable. And I think just needs to be brought, and Ms. Kasuba, I think you're committed to speak with students, right? And I think you should, probably put together a forum by which you could hear from the students and work together to come up with good solutions. And obviously the current solution is not ideal. So I think if we're all working together, we may not reach the perfect solution, but maybe we can reach a better situation than what we have right now. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers, for your comments. Can I make, can we open it up to the, those online first?
I'm sorry, sir.
Ms. Conway, is there anyone in the queue who would like to make a comment?
Yes, Madam President, there are 3 virtual commenters. The
Okay.
first is Tiffany Fisher. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm not, first I want to say I'm not going to dispute the law, but I do have a suggestion that might help. I just want to say in general, when you're in grammar school, you're taught modesty, cover up, yada, yada. And then you get into middle school and high school and you go into the locker room and it's free for all. And then you go into a store, a department store, and you have to get dressed behind a curtain. So what I'm suggesting is for the locker rooms to either have a curtain setup situation where kids go in clothed, get dressed, come out clothed. A teacher can monitor it because nobody is in the state of undressed, or you could have locked stalls like a bathroom where they go in clothed, get out clothed, and I think it would alleviate a lot of these issues.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Fisher. Thank you very much. The next person in queue? Ms. Conway, you said there were 3?
Yes, the next commenter, Madam President, is Bacha Van Nostrum. I'm sorry if I mispronounced.
That's okay. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
I said that instead of can you hear me? I just wanted to give feedback. I have a junior at the high school, and I obviously asked him about this assembly, and he was very enthusiastic. He felt like it was really well done. He talked about how Mrs. Connolly spoke about some of the things you said tonight, that, this is what the law is. So, everyone is entitled to feel however you want to feel about it, but this is a law and this is what the expectation is. I agree with Dr. Stefankowitz that there's really not a reason or the ability to opt out of this, because you can't opt out of knowing what rules you need to follow. And I think people are, seeing problems where really none exist. And this is why we send our children to public school, to kind of be in the world and see what the world is and have knowledge and learning that really shouldn't be dictated by individual parents. That's not what the system is. That's not what public school is. So I just wanted to say very well done. I heard great things about the assembly, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ms. Van Nostrand. We appreciate your comments. Next speaker.
Madam President, the last commenter is Maria Novick.
Go ahead, Maria. Maria?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Your microphone is on.
It says connect. It's connecting, not yet.
Can we type it? We say her name again, so maybe she doesn't know it's her.
No, she unmuted.
Oh.
She might be having a connection issue though.
Okay.
Oh, please go ahead. Maria Novick.
She can type this.
Is there a way for her to type her question into the chat?
Yes, she's Maria Novick, you can certainly type your question into the chat and all the board members will see it.
See, she's still trying to connect. Oh, nope. Maybe she's on.
Yeah, she's just not.
Do, yes, all right.
And that would be the last commenter.
Yeah, so let's, yeah. She's welcome to contact Dr. Stefankiewicz tomorrow if and he'll be able to address her concern or question. There's nothing else.
Great.
And she's not connected. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Ms. Collery.
I just have a comment about the bathroom situation. So I just want to say that my first knowledge of the locked bathrooms in the high school was prior to my first running for the board, which was in 2019. And I've also heard about it again at the strategic planning meetings. And all the people that have come here tonight, obviously there's a significant impact on their lives, not just, the situation with the vaping and so forth. And I understand that. I really, truly do. And I know it's an impossible situation, but it's also could cause medical and gastrointestinal issues on top of all of that. So I am willing to make a motion tonight for, our administration to come up with a resolution for the locked high school bathroom situation and to present to the board at our next meeting.
Well, rather
a second.
I'll second.
I'm not sure that we can do that with the administration. I think we need to let the administration work out a plan first, meet with the students, and then report back to us.
But that's what the was.
It's not a resolution, that's the issue. It's a plan, really. So I suggest, if the board is asking for a plan, then that's fine.
Okay.
Right? So Jim,
And I apologize.
Meetings that take, yes, and solutions.
Yep.
Is that acceptable?
Yes.
And we will get,
that's the case.
So we have that and the smoking alarms for next session.
do you wish to go to the microphone for public comment?
Yes.
We never got Maria. Okay.
Good evening, Melina Coles, how are you? I just had two questions for Dr. Stefankiewicz. I wanted to know, you mentioned that there was specific criteria that had to be met for a person to be able to use a facility based on a different gender or they're biologically a male, so they want to go into a girl's bathroom. What are the specific criteria that has to be met? Is that somewhere posted? Because it's not that I've read in the policy. So where would we get that information?
Basically, it's individuals who've worked with our administration and our counseling staff who've identified have identified themselves as an individual who is
of a different gender,
who is
gender identity or whatever.
And it's a process. It's not something.
So how long is the process?
Not something I can tell you on Monday and it starts on Tuesday. So, and the answer of how long that is, it really depends. You have to understand, most of the individuals that are in this situation are they're going through a very difficult and emotional situation.
Very aware of that, yes.
Okay, so they're going through, so this is often a process that starts with an individual starting at point A, and use of a locker room could be point Q. Right?
Okay.
So there's many steps that often it is a rare situation. I don't believe it's ever happened where someone has come to us and said, I'm ready to use the locker room tomorrow, right?
Let me hear this. I'm sorry. Thank you, honey.
It's a little bit of a time and a process that we work through with students through counseling and through working with them to get to the point where they feel. Many of the students involved here utilize nurses' rooms, utilize unisex bathrooms. They do that through a process. When they get to a point where they feel like they'd like to try to either utilize a bathroom or
I didn't want to comment.
we can hear you if you're speaking.
You gotta go on mute. We can hear you right there.
Yes, your microphone is on.
Yes, is Maria Novick? Yes.
No, we can hear. That was the process that this goes, and so what exactly, how long, the way depends on the student.
Okay, so what I'm trying to get to here, okay, so I'm Joe today, and tomorrow I decide I want to be Carol. So I decide I'm gonna go into a bathroom, or the girls' locker room, because today I'm Carol, when yesterday I was Joe. That you're saying is not going to happen because there's a process. So at the end of the day, who is actually making that determination? And you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I know you're saying it's a process?
By the student, the ultimate determination is made by the student. By the student, but I can tell you that is in great consultation with our counseling staff and with our administration.
Okay, so that student then has to go through a process with you before, or not you personally, but staff or counseling before their gender can be declared something else and they can use the facility.
Not necessarily that their gender could be declared something else, but that they're utilizing facilities that way.
Okay, so did they get a pass that say I passed this thing and I now can be?
There's no pass. No.
There's no pass. Okay. Okay. And my second and last question is, what percentage of the students that you're aware of in the school right now are actually true transgender, have gone through this whole process? How many of them, what percentage? We can't get that.
I can tell you that it's a very small number.
Okay. So less than 5%?
It's a very small number. It's a very small number.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Conway, do we have Maria on?
Well, yeah, we'll try again. I had to mute her.
Hello?
Maria, are you on?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'd like to make a comment on all the students that spoke today. I really commend them, and all the presentations were really, really good. I've been hearing a lot about the bathrooms myself, and my comment is, there's too much focus on this. I send my daughter to the school so that she can focus on learning. And I've been hearing a lot about there's nowhere to go to the bathroom. So, they have to go and they can't go. I mean, so much that I actually made a joke that isn't funny, but I said, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe they need to wear diapers. I mean, I don't know what to say. It seems almost ridiculous. My father-in-law was a principal in Brooklyn and a dean. And, my husband was commenting that in his day, students wouldn't be able to hang out in bathrooms to cut class. That would never happen, never happen. He would immediately remove them from the bathroom. So I don't understand why there's so much focus on this and why we can't just go back to normal so that the students can focus on learning and not have their classes interrupted.
Thank you for your comments. Mrs. Novick, again, if you heard Dr. Stefankowitz, the administration is going to be putting together a plan. We will be reporting back. So if you will join us for our next meeting, hopefully we'll have some answers.
Yes, and the other comment I did want to make is, you know, the one of the individuals, I think one or two mentioned gastrointestinal issues. It's a huge problem. And I don't know if you're familiar with, but there's a physical therapist right here in Ocean that works on adults, students, young students, older students. And her main focus is that she herself said that in her school district, which is not Ocean, but a local school district very close to us, where she said that she so much was nervous about going to the bathroom. That is the reason that she actually got into the field of physical therapy for GI issues. So it's a problem, and I would hate to see children have to suffer over that. I mean, it seems like such a ridiculous thing. It's just nature, and they should be worrying about studying, learning, and not worrying about what bathroom they have to use and if or not they can go at all. Thank you for your time.
Very interesting. And I also agree that the students did a phenomenal job. So thank you for your comments, Mrs. Novick.
You're welcome.
If there is no one else in the queue, I would ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. I'm sorry?
There's a comment to be read, Miss Marianne says there's a comment somebody left to be read.
Kelly Terry posted something.
Marianne, is there another comment in the queue? No, it was just a posted comment.
Just for us.
So you each read it individual.
Exactly. So can I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
It's literally.
Motion.
Second. Thanks, everybody, for attending. I appreciate everyone coming this evening.